Yeah, that's my most of the stuff. So
She's gone back.
yeah, she'll be on her way back in. Okay, well, I'll introduce some people and then we can go on to the second part of it. Okay, so you guys, as I said, you submit this proposal, and information security people will look at, and we will actually have interaction design people look at it as well. Okay, so who we have here is Stuart Kowalski, who is the Vice Dean for Education and is quite secure. So he's one of our information security. He's a professor in information security, right? So and he's dealing with the interaction with the information security group. So and organising what's going to happen, helping us organise what's happening on Friday next week, right? So a week from now is you're going to actually sit down and debate and discuss with the information security master students the security aspects and privacy aspects of the project. We also have a couple of other guests and visitors. So this is Rolf.
Skonhold is the
Skonhold.
Yeah.
Rolf from ICT in Landit. So they are so ICT in Landit. Well, actually,
association. Yeah.
Yeah, you're from various. You're also from a company, but you are also representing ICT in Landit
as well,
which are a collection of the sort of businesses within the inland region who are also looking at kind of fostering activity and building a business association.
Building a kind of community around here as well, not necessarily just Gjøvik, but in the inland kind of.
In the inland region, and so you get in those sort of associations, you get some big companies like ITSEVA and people who are like have money to invest, but also you get little companies who are just starting up, who are associate members and
it's probably where I like to focus, at least the kind of startup environment. Yeah.
It's probably where you get the highest impact from the work you do, right? Because IT group, you try and push them, and they just go wall, and then get back to what they were.
But I want you tell them what you know about that.
Yeah, and then you can correct it.
I can kind of add on whatever.
And we have a third visitor who I absolutely know nothing about except his name's Ron.
Ron Rule. I'm from Concordia University College in Alberta, Canada, the western side, and we have 2 master's programs in information security, one in assurance and one in information security management. So similar, but different in a few ways.
Okay. So Ron's visiting Stuart to some extent and discussing the masters in information security. So we'll get Stuart to present what he sees as the information security side of this, and what we're sort of looking at for doing for you guys on Friday. And you can talk, Rolf.
I can kind of just start the conversation.
Just start some conversations if you're interested in having a conversation as well. Okay, so you can discuss what you see as important.
So Simon comes in with his kilt. I have my black hat on. I've been working in information security for about 30 years. I used to work at Ericsson, the mobile phone division, etc. I used to work at the telephone company. And my job, I was the product manager for security and fraud in something called Core Networks. So all the telephone systems and this mobile phone system here. How many people have bought a phone from an operator then have it locked so you couldn't go over to another operator? It's my fault. It's my job to develop security around that so that these phones would not do that. So I've worked with developing security about the last 30 years in different products and services. Now, in this course, we're looking at innovation. And what we're seeing is that the people who want to make things work are not thinking enough about security functionality and not thinking in the right way. So it's not only that they're not thinking enough, they're not thinking the right way. Interesting enough, the people in security are thinking too much and not in the right way. So we're here to make sure that you guys learn the balance. The analogy I give in terms of education, and I used to train product security managers in Ericsson around the world. I don't know how many people are familiar with the Wright brothers in the United States.
The flyers?
The second people to fly.
No.
The ones that took the chance
behind the New Zealander, who was actually
Now, so they originally, the myth around it, and it's true to some extent. I have a slide here, but we don't talk about slides. Is imagine it's about 105 years ago, and these are my managers in information security have got as a lecture saying, now you're 105 years ago, you're standing on the beach or the area of the Kitty Hawk. So that's where they took off. It's called Kitty Hawk, the area. And you have these guys, these two Wright brothers, who are bicycle mechanics. That's what these guys were, the bicycle mechanics. And they're trying to get this plane to fly. And what my information security manager's job is now, and what my job has been for the last 30 years, is to try and convince the Wright brothers that they should buy a parachute. Right? Because when these guys were designing the planes and having fun and making their games and being the game apprentice, they wanted to make the thing work. They're not worried about the fact when they take off that they might crash and have to jump out of the plane. No, we're trying to optimize this thing so that this is as light as possible. Now, with modern technology, we know how to secure systems. So I said I worked in this business for 30 years, and I know how to secure a system good enough. What we don't know is how to make money on it. All right? Now, what's another area that we know a lot about, to give an analogy of what you're doing, is food production. We got too much food in the world, don't we? But we don't know how to produce an environmental friendly. So the same situation, the quality aspects, when you're looking at the food business, the IT business in the same dilemma the environmental business sector was about 20 years ago. Is that everybody knows that, you know, we need cheaper food, we need more food, there's people starving here, et cetera, but no one knows how to produce an environmental. And what will happen in the next generation, your generation, you're actually willing to spend more money on, what's interesting is you're willing to spend more money on environmental food, but it's actually your grandparents that are buying it. We don't know that. If you ask you, are you willing to do this? Yeah, we're going to do this. But it's also the old people actually doing it, not the young people. So your intentions are good, but and that's what I'm saying here now. When you're designing your systems, we want you to think about the security aspect. We want you to be able to communicate with the people who think about security aspects. We want to train you to have good conversations. And that's what this exercise is about. So what you'll be doing, you'll be writing your idea. You have done that, I believe?
Yep. You submitted this one, so yes.
The students in information security have been given a template in something, Simon and I know about this, but you're not taught this yet because you have many things to learn about social technical modeling. Have you talked about anything about it?
No, not really, no.
But that's fine. I mean, you guys have to make, you're the bicycle mechanics. Sorry to say that. I'm the aeronautical safety engineer. All right? And you're going to have to learn about that. Because imagine if in the future, this plane that disappeared someplace in the Indian Ocean, with all this fancy technology, this black box, imagine if it had a parachute. Maybe we would know whether famous was M something, I forget, 370?
379? Yeah.
Your games now. Or what are you designing exactly to serve?
So we've got 4 different, well, kind of in the room, 4 different ones. So, well, you guys can still go very quick.
Give me the name.
Team Tech, Team Quest is a platform for the wellness key, which is software, hardware, infrastructure already implemented in gyms around the world.
Have you thought about security?
Not too much.
Good. The next one?
Smart Holders Plus, kindergarten game. Using that to get kids to learn about technology as tools. Yeah.
And have you thought about any threats or possibilities? Yeah.
A game like Alias, where you have in school you get a card on your phone and you have to describe it to another person, and that person has to guess the word.
Guess.
Yeah.
And that's 3. And the last one was
just 3 in this.
Okay, so there's 3 here, but we've got another one which is not here. But,
so what we train our people to do is we call it white hat, black hat, right? So many of the people here learn how to break systems, etc. That's the black hat type of work. So you put black hats on, you say, okay, I'm going to try and corrupt your system. Now, one of the most important things is hard to get people to understand, and even the security people, because they think it's theoretical, you have to think about bad people. You're not bad, but you have to think about bad people. As a security manager, I know if I have 10,000 employees, at least 2 of them are crazy.
2 of them will stab you in an alley.
Yeah, and we don't want to make you think bad, the black hat, but you have to think about the guy in the black hat. Now, who would be the black hat for your game in the schools?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll give you a suggestion. Who'd be interested to know what kids are doing? You know, a funny little man that wears a long coat?
Yeah.
Who's that? Think black hat.
Predators, flashes.
Predators, flashes, etc.
Oh, yeah.
People are grooming teenagers.
You know what grooming is? I mean, there are people in our society that go out and try to find small children and take advantage of them.
There's also a phrase called, which you can put into security, TTP, which I heard from an educator at a game conference, and they use it in the UK when they're discussing new technology being added to schools, and it's time to penis, which is how long it will take a 14-year-old to draw a penis in whatever technology you give them. Right? And this is kind of so any piece of new tech they put into a high school has a TTP.
Okay, I don't know how much time I have, whatever.
So,
Now I'm going to put on the white hat. Simon and I and Marsh, we have children, right?
not
We
the
want-
same children. We're not some kind.
No, we're not exactly right about that. So, the fact that there was Jim here, you were at school? Kindergarten, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
They went to my kindergarten, like the kindergarten my kids go. Well, actually, no, you didn't.
Now, going back to this
Same
now,
age.
you know, Simon, go back to his kids, is famous in your week as being William Wallace because he escaped from the kindergarten.
Yeah.
Did you read that article, right?
Got in the newspapers.
Now, would it be good in your game to have something about where is the kid playing with this game? White hat, because Simon is a good guy, right? What sort of information in the information security thing are you going to use to support the good guys? So you always have to think about the bad guys that are trying to do evil things, and the good guys, the white hats, that are there to make sure that these guys don't take over the town. So you have to understand security in terms of white hat, black hat. You have to think, I mean, your system, how would it help the parent who's trying to control? Enough.
Trying to monitor more than control.
He's a gamer. All right? So you understand. So my guys are trained in that. We're training our people to deal with this, be able to put a white hat on and a black hat on. And they have a certain model. You don't have to know about that, because that's what I'm saying to them. This is reality. Right? I spent 30 years trying to sell parachutes to system engineers at Ericsson. The mobile phone that you're using today, 80% of the requirements for it come from a 14-year-old Japanese teenager. I know, I was there. And the 14-year-old Japanese teenager didn't really think that much about security. And I couldn't get my security requirements in, so I was trying to figure this out. But that's, at Ericsson, a lot of the development, etc., has to do with the early adopters. And we designed systems for the people that are stupid enough to pay for this new technology, or have the incentive to do it. And these people don't really have security on. All right, that's all.
Okay, no, that's lovely. Thank you.
Rob, do you want to say about? Oh, yeah.
Do you want? Do you guys do this at your university college? Do you have your?
Well, we have the same type of philosophy. I mean, one of the things in our program that we have people think of is that if you're going to have a piece of software that is going to be designed to be used in the organization, you should, the very first question in the development phase coming up with the problem statement that this software is going to solve. You should ask, is there a security aspect of this? So if there is a security aspect, you should get a security guy in that team from the very start. And that way, when you start forming your requirements and eventually your functional requirements, that those functional requirements have security built into it. Because you're starting to make choices of code. And when you make a choice in code, which you regret, if you later think of a security functionality that you need, well, you have wasted resources. So you want to drive down the cost of that, of securing that end software. You've got to be right there in the beginning. And I think most organizations don't put a security person there into those initial meetings, and they pay for it later because someone at the very end.
They don't pay for it, we pay for it.
Yeah. Someone at the very
Somebody
end
pays.
well, isn't security something we should worry about with this? And then you have to go back and use workarounds rather than maybe a different code choice, coding methodology.
So let's say we have a lot more to discuss in terms of practicality. Yes, you have a question?
Yeah, well, I want to say that that we will have this opportunity to consider the security aspects of our projects is a really good thing for us, especially because I have been wondering about those, but I don't have the skills or I haven't been trained to do that. And my the idea that I'm developing will be have to be with data and not only data from users, but data from the system and algorithms that evaluate data to create to have some outcome. And so security will be an important aspect of my project. I'm glad that I will have access to some things that will help me.
I'm very happy about this. The expectations that this, of course, is a bit a short-term thing. This is not real life, and my students are not exactly completely educated in social technical ways.
They've not got 20 years experience doing this, so you know.
But what's important, you learn to talk together, because I mean, as I say, I usually start off by saying good morning pension fund, because I guess I'm sure that you guys are going to design some system, and I'm going to be blue screen to death in the future with some health device. I'm sure I'm going to be blue screen. I know that, right? Control. Someone's going to have to press Control Alt Delete when I'm dead, because you guys didn't put enough security functionality in something. So I want this generation to. I mean, you're the ones that are going to have to look at us when we're gagging in these states, whatever. So I'm hoping that this will pay off
when we're old and decrepit and in a restart.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So next Friday is you'll be having the debate with those, and they'll be reviewing your documents for the next week and coming up with questions to ask you, and then so that gives you the introduction of what to kind of be thinking of by the time we get to next week. So I thought I'd get Rolf to introduce a little bit about ICT Inland, and seeing and instead of Bruno, we'll use Rolf. He did up and it's.
No, I just came.
He just came by and
said,
yep, I just grabbed him. So this is unprepared, right?
No, but the main idea, I can tell a little bit about that, and then what we foresee going forward as well. Because
yes, particularly around this is the entrepreneurship course. So they've got products that they're thinking about and projects they're developing.
Okay, so cool. So that's in the sweet spot of what we kind of are thinking of going forward with as well. Without complicating anything, so we were basically established 3 years ago. Maybe the 2 years you saw us more than the last year. We had taken a kind of a small breath in the, but just to see where we were and what we want to do. So I think you will see much more of us going forward and hear something more about us. Let me just also say that in the 20th of May, we will have an ICT conference happening in Ict area. Over 2 days, it's free. It includes dinner in the evenings and stuff. So we want as much students to come as part of being attendees at that conference. There will be people in the business world, and it will be people from an association called Fagforbundet. So you will meet a lot of different people being there. But for your own information, you can be there and you can sign up online There is a link for that. If you don't have it, I can send it to you, and they can do whatever they want to do with it. But it's possibilities to join and have a kind of a good conference there. We have done that for 4 years now, so this has been on a regular basis. But what we haven't done so much, but we want to do more of, is activities in the area where we hear and learn more about students at, for example, here at school, having ideas they want to see if they can develop and find some kind of environment for that. In what shape or form we will go about that, it's a little bit not really there yet, because this is a newer idea this year than earlier. But anyway, another thing that I think can be a very high interest as well is that we, besides just being a Norwegian kind of domain, we are thinking bigger than that internationally. So what you might hear about coming later on, it's places to meet up, to meet people in all kinds of capacities. And we have named that the International Hub. Today there is one in Oslo that I'm working with. So that Oslo International Hub has a community already, but just behind the Royal Palace. In Oscarsgate, it's some places to go there. So he will also be here on the 20th. So we plan to do a little introduction of what we foresee coming on in those kind of circumstances, because there is a lot of international people staying at campus here, either working or whatever in capacities. So we want to see if we can do something more than just the typically maybe a Norwegian club or something like that. So that could be of interest as well. But basically what we will do on the 20th and 21st is the ICT conference. In the morning on the 20th, before the conference starts around lunchtime, we will I will ask someone here actually to reserve maybe Ørneredet or something like that, so I can spend some time there before the lunchtime, and then we can go from there. But there is a lot of things happening actually in this, and you are probably the generation that I would say. I'm 47 myself now. I have been in this business, ICT business. I work globally now for a current ICT provider or internet service provider called Interroute. So we have our own network all over Europe in terms of fiber technologies and such. So I know the industry some 17 years now. So my interest of establishing some kind of community here in this area is because I'm from Gjøvik originally, but lived abroad 15 years. So we can see if there's opportunities to make places to, as I said, meet up and whatever activities could be potentially. I don't have the answers to everything, but we have at least an idea of where we want to go on this. And I don't know if there is anything else to say. I'd like to see as many of you at this conference as well. And if we could see in the next months something that can materialize into a more typical international hub, as we would name it. Gjøvik International Hub probably will be the name if it is here. But you will have potentially an interaction with other communities and maybe even make use of some workspace in Oslo in those facilities they have there. And we are now setting up in London and Berlin. They were in Dubai as well last week. So there is a lot of things happening on a kind of an international connection kind of level as well, in terms of getting an environment to establish and to create something.
Would it be useful for the May 20th conference to have people who are interested to actually kind of pitch their current things to potential investors? Maybe if we do that like before the lunchtime.
At least those two that I have in mind, that's established the Oslo International Hub, plus his partner. They are dealing with those kind of aspects as well. So at least one of them would be very interested in listening to what potentially is happening for the time being. If you want to do some presentation, we can do that before lunchtime in Ørneredet. If we just have kind of a snapshot of 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes of what you want to present, and then take some Q&A afterwards or whatever. I'm open for whatever.
That's great. I was trying to contact you yesterday on phone.
He's actually But anyway, we don't have any particular recipe for how we want to do things. We take it a little bit step by step and see how things develops. But we want to do as much as we can do as far as we are concerned, to see if you can grow whatever you are working on and get the connections with the right people. there are a few of those already, I know, in Gjøvik, but we are thinking more internationally how we can do this. Yeah.
In my case, the idea that I have developed, or I plan to create as a startup in Norway, is surrounded is regarding the gym and some making sense of data that is related to activities or workout for users to engage more with their sessions or with their going to the gym.
Okay.
But the thing about the international aspect that you're telling me, it really touched me, because I'm traveling to Berlin to a conference with people from Rocket Internet, and they will be looking around for people to talk to.
Yeah.
I'm traveling there on 7th of May.
Okay.
And I'm preparing for that meeting, either looking for other entrepreneurs that would like to work with me in the idea, but mostly investors that would like to place me somewhere else. But one of the things I have been discussing with Truls is that I want to start in Norway, and I want to create the startup in Norway because two things mainly. The support that Norway provides to startups is really great, and you cannot find it anywhere else. And second, because for my particular solution or the particular project, I am interested in a small market where I can test and make several iterations over my idea before launching globally. And that's specifically.
Yeah, no, I mean, you will at least have the opportunity to meet some that I think can be a good starting point. Yeah. And that community, you know, the networking of people and who you know and what you know and those kind of things start maybe some. You know, just the ball starts rolling. So yeah, but that 20th could be a good starting point.
So I'm taking to a meta level of the course information is that part of the innovation process is actually the networking of connecting with people who have money or have ideas or have expertise or have connections in the area you're trying to get into, and going to events and organizing kind of meetings with those people at conferences where they're already, because one of the nice things is at a conference, they're already out of their office. They're already kind of away from their normal day-to-day grind. So they're generally slightly more open to discussions and thinking about things. And so I know you see major development conferences, you'll often have like either a bunch of meetings happening before the conference or after the conference, and the GDC actually has a whole, because it's the Game Developers Conference, has a whole system set up for matchmaking, and you know, you go in, you book your meetings with people, and you have all the, like, you've got to schedule your meetings across the whole week, and yeah, it's just like there's the conference where people talk, and then almost as much activity in the publishers talking to developers and the meeting and tech people. So it's like there's two kind of tracks almost of innovation, networking and discussions and meetings, as well as conference talks and presentations.
So 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and you don't necessarily have the same pace all projects, but you know, it's a little bit ups and downs also. So you know, but the main issue here is to get in contact with people, and it's up to you to see how that fits into your kind of perception of how you want to do things as well. Obviously, you want to have some backing and funding or whatever, but that's part of it. But it's also your own personality, comes across to the whatever people that you're talking to as well. So I think that is basically the bottom line here. But I think that 20th and 21st could be a good opportunity to drop by Eureka. And in the morning on the 20th, we start with a little bit more closed session where we have opportunities to have that kind of interaction with stakeholders.
Not quite the Dragon's Den style of
I was about to
with a bunch of money. And
I was about to say Dragon's Den because I watched it a lot back in time in BBC.
You guys, you know Dragon's Den? You've watched Dragon's Den?
Is there a Shark Tank?
Dragon's Den. It's a TV program where they have like 5 investors and people present their ideas.
Version of Shark Tank.
They started it in BBC, and that's where I guess the most known people. I think they have kind of copied it in
various countries.
But they started in England, and it was 4 or 5 kind of investors sitting there, and you had to pitch your idea, and then maybe they will pick it up and say, "I will do something." But you know, as I said, we don't have the full recipe for this, but we want to create and stimulate at least for people to start to think about not necessarily working for Ericsson, but working for yourself and do something on your own, because this generation of I would say anything has changed in the game of how you do, what you want to work with over time, because there are so many opportunities if you just grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say that all of you should really, not just Daniel, you should all come and pitch your things. I mean, the thing is, every time you pitch, you get better. Every time you understand, oh, I shouldn't have said that. That went on too long. Should have said more about this. And you improve, your self-confidence. And the more you know people, the more you've pitched this project or similar project, the more confidence you will have, and the more, at ease you will feel presenting your things. And that's a big part of what reassures an investor, what makes this person knows what he or she is talking about. And so go and present, even if this project that you're doing here isn't something you want to pursue to the bitter end, go and do it. Yeah. Maybe people will convince you otherwise. It's just fantastic. You should take it, or if not, at least you'll have that experience that is invaluable. You cannot get that from sitting in your room doing a bit of code, thinking that was a pretty nice commented code.
Yeah. I'm particularly interested in that creation of the hub in Jovico.
Yeah, no, we're definitely thinking of, and also finding a location. It could be that we talk to Musta and have some at least rooms so we can create something.
Yeah, because one of the things I got used to or saw a lot when I was living in Boston, in general in the US, you feel the environment of all these places where you can go and just start with your idea and your startup.
Yeah, that's the ideal kind of let's say perspective we have as well, and everyone knows it, and it's kind of a common thing that is talked about. But Google started from a student environment, whatever. So Facebook, for that matter. I mean, it is. I don't say that everyone is supposed to be an entrepreneur, but you can be an entrepreneurial spirit in the sense you do your work wherever you work actually, and you be inventing things and being innovative. So we are just trying to see if we can kind of create an environment that could be potentially with the standing of Ict has today, the school here, especially security as we have talked about here today. But everything else, I'm open for gaming, I'm open for whatever, but we need to have some kind of
if you want this environment to be a place where you feel welcome, you have to be there.
Yeah, right.
You have to come now and be a part of shaping it, because he's like, oh no, all these old guys talking about making money, supply and demand, which I'm going to talk about in a short while. But it will be that way because you didn't go there and make it into something else. And it's going to be inviting to you and better for everyone if you go and make it your own. So there's really no downside to being part of it.
One last thing. Well, I read an article about a building venture ecosystem, and I got really interested in it, and I really looked at it after the idea. And then I tweeted Anita Kron, the CEO of Innovation Norge, and I told her, hey, I would like to help to create a built-in venture ecosystem in Norway. I don't know. I will.
Yeah, no. On that 20th, when I have at least 2 people in that room, they are well connected in many ways and have started up stuff on their own.
Okay.
But I won't give any, let's say, guarantees or anything here. But it is an environment where you can start to talk, and you can try to develop your own ideas. And we will try to create some environment for that. So that's basically bottom line. And the 20th, I think, is the starting point for this, because we haven't done so much last year and this year so far, but now we have some more, let's say, concrete on the table for you for this.
And I'll step up again to a meta level. Me getting Rolf to come in here and talk to you right now, that's the kind of thing you guys wouldn't need to be prepared if you're doing innovation, right? Because it's not uncommon for, an investor will happen to be there, and you have to present your idea coherently right now, right? So at any moment, you kind of have to have your 2-minute pitch available for discussion, because an investor, if you get an opportunity, you've got to be on and do it, right? Because
when I was at GDC in, when was that, 2005, we'd be practicing We were practicing like, pitch me.
Yeah, speaking of.
Okay. And so tell me, what's your game? And okay, so now it's my turn. Okay, I'd say, I'm from Apple. Pitch me the game. So then we'll have to twitch it so it fits with Apple. Okay, I'm from Nintendo. Pitch me your game. And then we know the game, and I know the game, and it's just keep doing that. Being able to present very short, condensed version of the USPs and the key points of your idea to someone is invaluable. The more they go, wow, we're working on this thing, it's entrepreneurship. Well, you don't want to hear about that. We haven't really thought through the security part of it, so it's probably crap. How are you going to sell that? Nobody's going to buy that. But you have to think about it. And the moment somebody says security, okay, let's go. You go in front of the mirror, practice it again. And even though that game never ended up anywhere, but that experience allows me to get somewhere with other games. So
looking at what's happening at kind of multiple levels, which is kind of your master student. So you should be kind of thinking about those kind of, why is Rolf here? What is Rolf doing? What's the point? Not for this project, but for future projects and from my ways of thinking. So
just have that in the back of your heads.
Excellent.
I will see you guys on the 20th probably.
Yes, I'm presenting in the afternoon.
Yeah,
I'm the last before dinner.
Are you on the first day?
Yeah, I'm on the first day, and I think you've either given me an hour and 45 minutes, or 45 minutes and expecting there to be an hour break after
I didn't have anything to do with the scheduling, so I don't know.
Because I can talk for an hour and 45, that's not a problem. I think it will be funny.
But I would be as excited if there are a lot of people coming in the morning on the 20th. If we could reserve Earner, for example. I can either do it via you or maybe Sulu or Patrick or whatever.
Great. Okay. Sorry, I hijacked your.
No,
your
that's fine.
presentation.
No, Gunnar wasn't here. We needed. This is great. I mean, taking. Stein, by the way.
Stein.
I just dropped out of school and suddenly I'm here.
Yes, we should.
But I had this on my mind, so I hope that
30-minute break, eating. I'll shorten my lecture down a little bit before we get done.
Yep. Okay.
Is that okay? 30 minutes?
30 minutes.